If anyone were to plant a secret camera where you work, at the end of the day, when your boss watched the video, would you get a massive promotion or would you get 2 weeks' notice? Tune in to Man Talk for this episode.
That's good.
Join us. Okay, so check this out. I'm going through, I don't know about you. Do you do the monthly car wash thing?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so if
Fast,
you guys...
Fast Eddie's.
Okay, you go Fast Eddie's. I go Mr. Car Wash. Both of them awesome. If you don't know about this, right, you can pay $20. All you can wash.
Yep, once a day.
Right, you can go once a day. I'm a big fan of it, especially now in the SOE time.
All that grunge from
underneath. Oh, yeah, and I just think I am making so much money right now. But anyway, you drive through.
It is very satisfying.
Oh, it's extremely satisfying. I love it.
Except when you only go 3 times a month.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but you can pause.
No,
do you pause?
I haven't. Never
you see,
paused.
when I know I'm going to be up north, like July, June, whatever, I pause.
Have not paused.
Yeah, you can pause.
Okay,
all right. So anyway, here's what happened. My daughter's in the back seat, and there's this gentleman who waves you in. You know, make sure you hits the whatever the tire lane or what do you call that? The groove. And you know, that's another thing too. A little bit of the face statement. You know how they're doing this, you know, and you think you're going to hit the car in front of you,
right?
And you're like, okay, I just keep going. And sometimes my wife will be like, slow down, you're going to hit the car. I'm like, no, he's calling me in.
Our guy just goes like this. He just pinches like this.
Well, anyway, this guy calls me in, and then did something really interesting. After, you know, I'm in neutral and the car's proceeding through, he washes the front of my car. And then as he walks to the back of the wand, he sees my daughter in the back seat, and he takes his finger and he draws a smiley face on the window.
Oh, cool.
And I thought, that dude, I like that dude, right? So anyway, I'm pro that guy now. And so he leaves. Or I leave, excuse me. He's there. And then I don't know. This has been happening for months now. When he's running that spot and my daughter happens to be in the back seat, every time it seems he looks at her and he goes, he does a smile.
He remembers her then.
Yeah. And I'm assuming he probably does that with
for everybody.
Every
for all
kid,
the kids.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
Right.
But I know that my daughter and I can't wait to go through the car wash when he's on the wand there.
Good. Yeah, so he's customer service big time.
Yeah, and so what I was thinking is
just a little thing.
Yeah, I know it's a little thing, but I'm like, I like that guy. If I was starting a company, I might call that guy and go, hey, I want to hire you because of that, because no one's asking him to do that.
Right.
He just decided that, you know, he's going to go above and beyond.
Absolutely. And he's not paid extra.
No. Have you ever gone to a store and you say, hey, how you doing? And they say, I'll be better in about 15 minutes when I'm out of this place. Yeah. And then you're like, oh. So it makes you feel bad.
Right. Or there's a guy at my car wash who you can tell he is not happy to be there. So he needs to have some training from your guy.
Right. We need to have those guys have a little cross train. Yeah. So anyway, I'm just thinking this idea of, you know, what's the term, like, you know, bloom where you're planted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Very good. Yeah. Abraham Lincoln said this, if I can find it real quick here. Whatever you are, be a good one, is what he said.
Say that again? That was quick.
Whatever you are, be a good one. So if you are a car wash scrubber of the windows, be a good one at it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
bloom where you're planted.
Right. I don't know how many times I've seen people and I thought, man, whatever they do, they're going to be really good because they get it. I don't know if you call that high EQ or high emotional intelligence or just ambition. But, you know, can you think of some people in the Bible that just whatever they did, they were just...
Yeah, Joseph comes to mind.
Yeah, they were 4-star, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was kind of a pampered guy, but the principles that he had in his core belief system,
right?
That guy took care of every little thing. You know, he raised to the highest level of the Potiphar's court, raised to the highest level of the prison,
right?
And then whatever he did, he bloomed.
Yeah, he must have been good because Yeah,
to be high here, high there.
Yeah, I think of Daniel too. Like whatever Daniel did is like, this is how cool Daniel was. Think about this. Imagine if, using modern terminologies, like, being an 80s kid, imagine the United States overthrowing Russia, taking over the country, and then going, you Russian 18-year-old, we're going to put you as vice president. Mm-hmm. Like, nobody does that, but that's what happened to Daniel. Not only did that happen, when the Medes and the Persians took over, what happened? He
gets in there,
Everyone else dies or becomes prisoner, but Daniel's like, no, we'll put you in charge as well. Yeah. I mean, that's a next level.
Absolutely. Samuel will be another one. We don't know a lot about Samuel when he was little, except for when he was called in the temple.
Right.
The Lord called him, and so he was faithful. He bloomed as a little guy in the temple to Eli the priest and said, hey, the way you're raising your boys is not a good thing. So that takes a little guts. But
it's almost as if they're not working for pay or for praise. It's like they have there's just a higher standard.
Yeah. Is that a natural thing? Is that something that's born, or is that something that's learned?
Yes. Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah, I agree too. Right. I think you can learn it, right?
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Because we're all actually selfish people. We're all born selfish.
Yeah.
And so if we have that principle of wanting to help others,
I think probably it's more of, if I were to guess, learned until it becomes natural.
Yes.
I think for some it's more than others, but there's this idea that I'm going to do this because it's the right thing to do, regardless of compensation, or the biblical principle of don't let your left hand know what your right hand's doing. I don't care. I'm not going to post on social media that I did something. Hey, look, I helped a lady across the street. Look at me. That type of.
Let me get a selfie with you at the street corner.
Here I am with this poor old lady who looks like she's trying to get away from me, but I got her in a arm lock because I need credit for this. Yeah. Just that level of.
Reminds me of a story. I was in a large auditorium, and there was a young person that I wasn't really looking. This young person walked by this candy wrapper that was on the floor there, and he walked by, and I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't upset that he didn't pick up the candy wrapper, but he turned around, went back, picked it up, threw it in the trash. No one saw him besides myself, and so I made sure I made a beeline to him. I said, "Hey, I appreciate what you did. You didn't have to do that. No one was looking. That's called leadership. That's way, the type of thing that a pathfinder does, right?"
Yeah, and you think about the times when Jesus comes up to people and says, essentially, I'm paraphrasing, "I know who you are," and he's like, and you go, "What do you mean?" Well, when I was hungry, you fed me, and when I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. Like, you didn't know I was watching. And you didn't even know this had anything to do with me, but it did.
That time where you sat and listened to that lady talk to you that was broken, and you didn't know what to say, but you just listened to him.
Yeah,
you were listening to me.
Right. Yeah, it's almost as if
listening to my pain. Yeah.
So this is kind of a weird thing that I've done before. I think people have soundtracks, and I actually create. I know I am weird, and feel free to put in the comments that I need serious help. But like, sometimes you have this soundtrack to life where you're walking around, and my dog has one, and so when I take him for a walk, here's the soundtrack. Ready? Doom 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 doom. And it's when he walks, his ears flop, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's got the soundtrack. When he's in the mode, like you
actually audibly.
Go,
nice.
Okay, so
when you're working, do you have your own soundtrack?
Oh yeah, like sometimes,
if you're mowing the lawn, what's your soundtrack?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like sometimes I have these soundtracks, and I'll even know when I have like lousy ones. So I'm like, man, you got yourself a pretty dramatic, lame soundtrack. You need to change the channel, my friend. But it's almost like these people have a different soundtrack because when you look around, people are like, you seem to be depressed and cranky and whatever. But this person is just like their head is above the clouds.
Drive-throughs, there's people at drive-throughs who go, I hope that person's there every single time.
Yeah. They got a different soundtrack. Yeah, right. That's what I'm trying to say. Right. It's like, and you can even do that. Like, they must be listening to whatever soundtrack, but they just have a different gear. I just think that's pretty powerful. I want to read you this text that I thought was amazing. Kind of going along with this idea of soundtrack and the Lord, is your focus, not men. Colossians 3:23 and 24. Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You're serving the Lord Christ. So to your point about the rapper, it wasn't about
the
getting
candy
credit.
Rapper, not
the candy rapper.
I was trying to think of rapper. I don't know. You remember talking about
the kid that picked it up. He just was working. He had a different boss.
Yeah.
If you will.
Right.
It reminds me of this video that I saw once where they set this lady up. They set anybody up, actually. They had this mall full of people, and they were all in on it. And they had this empty, like, pop bottle on the floor. And they were just waiting for someone to pick it up and put it in the trash. But everyone walked by it except this one lady. She grabs hold of it, and she decides to put it in the trash. And as soon as she did, everyone in the mall turned around and just cheered. They're like, "Yeah,
that's so cool!"
And they're like clapping.
We should do that sometime.
Oh, that would be awesome! You remember when they just had those? What do they call that? When flash mobs? It was a flash mob.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So they had this flash mob, and so it was so cool. And I was thinking about what if heaven is doing that? What if heaven is like, yes, way to pick up that trash, or way to be kind,
way to go to that person who is hurting.
Yeah, like somebody's hurting. Yeah,
the one that's marginalized out there. Way to go. Way to go, Chad. Way to put your arm around that person and bring them into the circle.
Yeah. And what if they know everybody's soundtrack? And so they're like, hey, man, this person's not doing real well. Oh, here comes Craig Harris. Yeah. Sweet. And you're like, Craig Harris is going to do it. And then you're walking by and they're like, come on, baby. Come on, Craig. and then you do it. They're like, yeah. But nobody hears it, right? But your Father in heaven sees what's in secret.
And if you walk by...
Right, exactly. Like, oh, come on, man! And so then they're looking for someone else to step up, but it's not from the perspective of they're anti-you.
Yeah,
they're rooting for you to be who you are.
Yeah, who you're called to be. Yeah,
right.
Or even who you claim to be.
No, that's even a good point. Maybe not even who you are, but who you claim to be or who they want you to be.
Sort of like the Good Samaritan, right?
Yeah.
The priest and the rabbi claimed to be the perfect neighbor.
Yes.
Love the Lord with all your heart and soul and mind, and the neighbor is yourself.
Right.
They knocked on their doorposts every time they left the house to say, this is what I believe in.
Yeah.
When it come right down to it, they didn't do it.
Yeah. Okay, so hey, listen, here's the challenge this week, and that is two things kind of. Bloom where you're planted, which you talked about, like, do what's right because God is your inspiration. He's your boss. He's your best friend. He's your king. So do what's right, regardless of whether you're going to get acknowledgement for it or a raise or anything like that. Be that type of man this week. And so that's the one thing.
It's really more looking out for other people as opposed to yourself.
Correct. Right. Exactly. And look for those. The second part, which is look for opportunities outside of what is required. Look for people that might you could just tell by their face that the soundtrack isn't that great. So look for that and
like that
be blessed.
Idea.
Yeah. So hey, it's been Man Talk, and we have three things. Three things.
We believe in them pretty strongly.
Yep. And love God,
love everybody,
and duct tape
fixes everything.
And
that's a true statement.
That's right.
All three are true statements.
Have a great day.
See ya.